Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know. They know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience.
You know, sometimes, bro, I be on Twitter. And I be scrolling through Twitter and shit. And sometimes I really do be feeling bad for celebrities and shit, yo. Like, dead ass, bro. Like, some of the shit that I be seeing people say, like, celebrities, athletes, y'all already know how I feel about athletes. I feel like they get treated like trash. But, I'm talking about, like, musicians, actors, actresses, all those type of things that qualify as a celebrity. I do be feeling bad for them sometimes, bro, because I be seeing some of the ignorant ass comments that people make under they posts and shit, or under anything that's pertaining to them, and I just be like, yo, why are people like this, yo? Like, why do people wake up like this? Now listen, sometimes I just wake up. Now I don't never make the decision when I wake up in the morning like, oh, I'm gonna have a bad day, or oh, I'm gonna be a fucked up. Nah. For one, I'm not a mean person. But anytime I want to say something like heelish or something like, because I'm never saying nothing to make nobody, like, to hurt nobody's feelings. I done grew past that stage in my life. But, you know, anytime I'm feeling a little heelish, you know what I'm saying, that shit just come in spurts. Usually I'm super high. But this thing where people wake up and they don't really want to be like heels, like WWE heels, bro. Like, they want to actually be mean individuals, like evil individuals. And I just don't get that. You know what I'm saying? And so I be seeing like some of the shit that people say under these celebrities. Because obviously, you know, celebrities, whether because of their own doing or the profession they've chosen, you know, they really don't have as much privacy as they would like to. You know, a lot of the shit that happen in their life get, you know, plastered everywhere. On Twitter and shit especially. It's actually crazy. If you was around me to realize how little I know of most of these celebrities, I eat McDonald's a lot. And they had that. Wait, was it McDonald's that had that shit? I think McDonald's had a Swati meal or something. And I was like, I know who this is now, but I didn't know who the fuck that was at the time. And when I pulled up with one of my homegirls one time, she was like, oh, I want that Swati meal. And I was like, yo, who is that? And she was like, that's Quavo's ex. And I was like, Quavo's ex? And because I hadn't heard a song from the Migos in a minute, I had to think about who the fuck Quavo was at first. You ever had one of them times where you legitimately haven't listened to something from an artist who might got like a name that you done heard multiple times? And so, like, if Quavo was the only Quavo I had ever heard of in my lifetime, that'd be different. But I know multiple people named Quavo. And so I couldn't really put my head around it at the time. Like, Quavo. And then obviously it all clicked. I'm like, oh, the Migos. And she asked me, like, you didn't know who that was? I'm like, bro, why the fuck would I know who this dude is dating? Like, why the fuck would, like, this ain't no Jay-Z, Beyoncé type thing, or like another, like, couple that everybody, like Will Smith, Jay, like, why the fuck would I know who this man is dating, bro? Like, this ain't Michelle, Barack Obama, George Bush and his wife. Like, I don't even remember George Bush's wife's name. But the Clintons, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no shit like that. Like, why would I know? You know what I'm saying? And then she started talking about all the drama. And I'm like, and then the thing that come after, the judging. Like, I was looking at a video on Twitter today where I guess it was a very old interview of Jay-Z being interviewed while two young ladies was sitting beside him performing oral sex on each other. Or one was performing oral sex on the other. Getting eaten out. I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube, bro. But I saw somebody in the comment section was like, and it was crazy because this shit was like so random compared to a lot. Like most of the people in the comment section was like, they talk about back in the nowadays is crazy. Back in the day was wild. Like a lot of comments was pertaining to that. But it was one chick who had a comment that was like, and Beyonce saw this interview and was like, oh yeah, Jay-Z, that's the person I want to be in love with. I'm like, bro, who woke up and pissed in your cereal, bro? Like, who pissed in your toothpaste, my guy? Like, I don't understand why some people. And then I got this. Why I used to have this one homegirl. I don't fuck with her no more, bro, because I just think she like evil, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think she probably one of the more evil individuals I done dealt with in my lifetime. Like, and it's crazy because I don't usually call it, because like once I became a more mature individual. Like, so I was the two people in my lifetime I thought was like very, very wicked motherfuckers, right? Two of them, one of them I realized after, you know, I am and where I am in my life, I realized, okay, she wasn't really evil. She was more of trying to replicate what I was giving her. I was evil, and she was just trying to match that. This other broad, bro, this chick is evil. But not only is she evil, she fucking annoying, bro, because she will sit around. And this is one of the reasons I dumped her goofy ass, bro. Because she can sit around and just like fucking... Matter of fact, bro, it wasn't even... Well, matter of fact, she'll sit around and she'll talk about like all these things going on with celebrities and shit. And just be like talking hella shit about them. And I'd be like, bruh, you not rich, you not famous, so people don't see your life on a broad scale like theirs. But you worse than them. Like, bro, you calling this chick a dumb bitch because she took a dude back who done cheated on her, bro. What are you talking about, bro? You sleeping around with a dude that sleep around with multiple females. Like, what are we doing right now? Like, bro, some of them, like, bro. And even some of the dudes, like, I'm not gonna lie, most of the dudes I know is athletes, so they don't really sit around talking about this type of thing. Now, I do have homies as rappers and whatnot. Hey, I had a homeboy one time, and I don't really talk to him no more. Like, me and him, it's not that we not cool no more. We just don't live in the same city no more. This dude was much like a female in the sense that not he was a female, like he had female tendencies and nothing like that. But I say he was like a female because he talked about like gossip and rumors and shit like that was going on. And with like celebrities and shit. Like he was like a TMZ. That shit was crazy. Like we used to call that motherfucker that, like, yo, this dude like TMZ. Like, cause this dude would talk about like all the stuff that was going on with celebrities and shit. And I had never in my life seen a dude who had did that to that point in my life. I mean, to be honest with you, outside of like shit I see on TV and shit like that, like as far as like who I've met in my life, I don't really think I done met no grown ass man that really be into like most of the dudes like be into like the athletes drama and shit like that, but I don't think I done never met one that was like, cause you be seeing them younger dudes that's in like high school, middle school that be into like them weird dudes. Like I saw something on Twitter about the dudes that's basically around in that set, cause I thought about what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna bring this dude up, but around that 17, 16, 15 age, I realized these dudes, you know, they do talk about stuff like, I said this to a little dude the other day, my little homie, bro. Y'all little dudes in y'all generation act like a little bunch of bitches, bro. Like that. And I don't mean that in no offense, bro. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. I just think this younger generation, like my little homie's generation, like they a bunch of... Listen, I'm not going to say his name because he worked with me. But he agreed that his generation is a bunch of little bitches because he think it's weird how his generation act too. I never seen a generation with this type of fanboyism, bro. Like the fanboys in this generation, bro, like the YM, all the different type of stan accounts. Like this really is the generation of generational dick riding, bro. Like it's kind of crazy. But back to celebrities, bro. I just was looking at some things on Twitter today and I was like, damn, bro. Like, I know they signed up for this life, but they didn't sign up for this life. Like, and obviously you got some of them that's like, they put their life on the in the mainstream on purpose, and then they be shocked when people, like I saw that goofy shit between bro. I realized something. I love Kevin Gates' music. I don't think I really vibe with Kevin Gates the human being, bro. Like Kevin Gates the person. Like, I don't think he just say a lot of wild shit that I used to let slide a lot when I was younger. Because like I just fucked with him heavy, and so I looked past shit he did. Like, I used to be very great at separating the music from the human being. And I'm still very much capable of separating the person from their art and their craft. Even though your art and your craft is a reflection of oneself, in my opinion. However, obviously it's certain things that you can't separate. Like, obviously R. Kelly in his situation, you can't be like, oh, well, I can separate R. Kelly from the music. Now listen, there's still some people who can do that. Like, I can listen to an R. Kelly song if I really want. I'm trying to think of an R. Kelly song that I don't listen to in a long time, because I really don't listen to R. Kelly no more. Because I mean, I guess I stopped listening to R. Kelly because of that situation. But I mean, if R. Kelly played and it was a song that like if I Wish played, I'd probably listen to it. Like, I probably wouldn't skip it, because that's like one of my favorite tracks growing up. But I can separate the artist from the music. What was I saying? Like, I know how to separate. I understand not separating the two. Like, basically, I understand the people who can't, basically. Like, nah, this dude did this and blah. And I understand there's certain things like murder and things of that nature where people like, nah, can't separate it. But I don't know. I guess because I understand those type of people, and I don't think I'm one of them people who would stop listening to something just because of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know. Because like, if R. Kelly played, if I Wish came on right now, I would listen to it. But I'm not gonna go seek out. I guess that's the best way to say it. Like, it's been a long time since I just randomly went to YouTube or my songs and typed in R. Kelly to purposely play a R. Kelly song. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a long time since I've done that. And maybe it do have something to do with, because that's the only thing I could think of, is the fact that what his perverted ass done did on the. So I don't know, man. That's a great question. Is it possible to separate an artist from their music or their art? And if it is, like, how do you do it? Or like, I gotta get a producer. One day I'm gonna have a producer. I'm gonna have a fire ass fucking producer one day that's gonna make this show so much fucking better. I can't wait to find a producer one day, bruh. I cannot wait to find a producer. But listen, we was just talking. I know we was talking about the celebrities and things like that. And I basically said what I wanted to say on that. This show wasn't tonight's show. I am gonna talk a little bit about Kevin Durant. Talk about some of the things going on in the NFL right now. Teams preparing for training camp, not training camp, for the preseason. Obviously, you know, preseason is short. It's only 3 games this year. Bro, I've been buying a couple Leafs lately. Shit's been trash, and I'm not really happy about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really trying to remember what the fuck I was. Hold up for a second, bro. Hold up for a second. Give me a second. Oh, I gotta put the weed down. Said that as he proceeds to spark up. Now tell me, is this crazy? That I have no fucking clue. Like, I cannot remember what we was just talking about, or what I was just talking about a minute ago. Cannot think of how this show been going, like the conversations that started off the show. Is that bad? Now, before somebody say, oh, it's the weed killing his brain cells, well, listen, them motherfuckers just gonna have to fry. But listen, I've been forgetting shit since I was young. Like, my moms would give me tell me everything I need to get at the store. The store is legitimately a 2-minute drive. Not even a 2-minute drive. It's like a 50-second drive from my house. The Dollar General. I go in the Dollar General and immediately forget every fucking thing that she told me. And then it got even worse. I'm talking like, I tell myself, okay, make a list. And then my dumb ass will forget to make the list. Or then my dumb ass will forget the list. Like, I have always been forgetful, even before I was a pothead. So I really don't think there's got to be a better name for potheads also, bro. Like, I feel like pothead feel kind of derogatory to me nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Because people say pothead like they say crackhead. And I'm not really a type of person who really like the shaming of other people. Like, I don't really find that shit cool at all. Oh, I know what I was talking about, bro. Yo. Kevin, like, I realized separating the person from the artist, that's what I was talking about. You see how my brain works, bro? That's that ADHD acting up. But listen, separating the person from the artist, I don't like it. I guess that's how it would be for that R. Kelly shit. But listen, what I was talking about that was because Kevin Gates, bro, I don't think I really vibe with the human being, bro. He said a lot of shit that I just think is off the wall. And I'm like, bro, I don't agree with a lot of shit this dude be saying. And some of the shit he was saying on the Breakfast Club, that's when I really came to this conclusion. Because I'm not one of them people who can just listen. After somebody tell me, oh, this is so inspirational, what he's saying so empowering and blah, blah, blah. I listen to what he's saying and I'm like, you telling me what you just heard is empowering don't mean I'm going to instantly hop to that. I'm going to still let myself, like, my brain is going to decipher how I feel about this. I really think this dude said a bunch of nonsense, a lot of bullshit. And I think when you rich and you a celebrity, you done got to that point. So what you say, people can say, well, I mean, it got to be true because look at where they at. And I mean, I guess there's some truth to that. But a lot of these dudes, and women and men, I think say a lot of goofy shit. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Gates, but I just don't see the logic in some of the things, a lot of the stuff and then I think he contradicts some of the things he say based off of something. And then some of his and I understand that it's logic, like it's just not even logic, it's a mentality. Like how he was talking about Beyonce. Like, personally, I don't think I have a problem with that bar he had about Beyonce and his yeah, we can be superstars. Gremlins. And his Super Gremlin freestyle, I don't really have a problem with his Beyonce line. If Hove and him don't have like a close relationship. Like, if him and Hove had a close relationship, then I could see the problem with people having in that bar. I think most people have a problem with it because a lot of people look at Beyonce as like the queen of queens, like a motherly type of figure. And I have absolutely no problem with that because I look at her like that in ways too. But at the end of the day, I understand it's music, bro. And music is a reflection of oneself. So I kind of, at the end of the day, don't have a problem. Here's my thing. Some of the shit that Eminem done said in his music that people have absolutely no problem with, you can't then turn around and have a problem with some of the shit that some of these dudes say in their music. That's one. Two, while I understand some people might think it's disrespectful, and I even, kind of felt it was kind of disrespectful in a way, based off of some of the way he talked about it. Like, as a musician, I feel like he can rap those bars a more clever way. He can rap it a more clever way. But I listen to Kevin Gates. That's how he talking his shit, bro. Like, that's just, he is a nasty dude, bro. He say a lot of nasty shit in his rap. So that bar by Beyonce that he said about Beyonce really didn't throw me off balance. And I guess that's also one of the biggest reasons too, because I listen to Kevin Gates. Like, I've been listening to Kevin Gates since I was in high school, bro. I think the first time I was introduced to Kevin Gates was, these women ain't shit but hoes with tricks, baby girl, you different. When you're not around, it feels like something's missing, and I know you keep it real. Never tell no lies. I can't remember how it go. I just might trust you in my drugs. That's the first time I got introduced to Kevin Gates on a Pusha T track. And then I think that was in like 2011. It was either in 2011 or 2012. But I started listening to him from that point on till now. And so I got basically the man's entire catalog, bro. Like, all the Luca Brazzis, all his other, like, I don't even what mixtapes, what you would call them back in the day. Like, I know people call them shits EPs and shit now. But, so, because I know how Kevin Gates talk and how he rap, and, like, I guess that's why that bar really didn't bother me. But then I listened to how some people felt about it, and it was like, yo, if this was my wife and whatnot. Because one thing that I done learned as I done got older is to truly try to understand both sides of an argument, like, to truly understand. But the biggest thing is to understand why people who are offended, why are they offended? Obviously, you'll get a lot of people nowadays, these white dudes who just get offended for the hell of being offended because they trying to prove a point or something, to try to be ignorant, to try to be offended because somebody else offended. You know, they want to be oppressed so bad. But the people who are really, you know, offended by certain things, I try to understand why they are offended and try to put myself in their shoes as to. And real quick, I hope I don't forget this point. Before I go on with that, they're not the Redskins no more. They call it the Commanders. But I be seeing people who are like of Indian descent or Native American descent talking about some, oh yeah, the name don't bother me, so I don't know what. Bro, you have to be one of the lowest pieces of scum of the earth to be from a nation or a tribe or some nationality that has been oppressed, and this skin was made to degrade you. It don't matter how long the name stuck and how long people started to accept it because of that name. To call a Native American a redskin is a derogatory term, a derogatory phrase. Just because you are young and ignorant to your own culture, and you have no self-worth, and you don't look at yourself in a high light, so it's okay for people to call you these ignorant terms, don't mean you should be hopping on the internet talking about some, oh, I don't see the problem with it, I think we is being soft. Or that same coon-ass black person that get on the internet talking about some, oh, I don't see why it's a problem with this type of race, insert racist thing. Like, those type of people to me are very scum of the earth type of human beings. And I just wanted to say that real quick because I had thought about that in a fucking tweet that I had saw the other day. But because I listen to Kevin Gates and I listen to the way he talk, I understand that. But I do try to put myself in the true shoes of the person who offended. And when I was listening to people talk about, like, well, you know, if that was his wife and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I immediately ignored the fact when they said his wife, because I done heard him talk so much, I kind of knew what his response to that was going to be. So I just ignored that and said, and I put that in the position of them saying, like, if that was my wife he was talking about. And then I put myself in that position and said to myself, if I had a wife or a woman who I was thought I was gonna spend the rest of my life with and make my wife one day, and I heard another dude talk about her and they lyrics like that, I would have a fucking problem. Like, I don't think I would get physical with him or no shit like that, but I definitely would side eye that motherfucker when I see him. I definitely would hit him and be like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, bruh, especially if he know me. Now, if he don't know me, then I'm not even gonna make it a deal with him. Like, I'm not even gonna say nothing to him about it, but I already know I'm not gonna fuck with this dude. Like, I'm not gonna vibe with a dude who can clearly see this woman is in a relationship with another man, but he still choose to be highly. It'd be one thing if he talking about how beautiful he was and how he wished he could have been with somebody like her, but to specifically talk about wanting to eat her out and make a squirt and bounce on, you know what I'm saying? To say all those explicit things knowing that she with somebody, I just think that's highly disrespectful. And I cannot stand a disrespectful motherfucker. But what I can't stand more than a disrespectful motherfucker is somebody who's so openly disrespectful and don't care. Like, they just so blatantly disrespectful, like they won't get their ass beat by somebody, bro. Like, that's the most ignorant type of disrespectful person to me. And the more and more I listen to Kevin Gates, the more and more he sounds like a very disrespectful individual who paint himself as a noble individual. Like, and I'm like, bro, some of the stuff you say, bro, like, I go back and re-listen to, like, I don't even have to re-listen to it because I know damn near, like, just listening to things he's saying, some of these interviews and shit, like, I'm just like, bro, this is opposite of what you be saying and, like, preaching and shit like that. And I don't know, man. Like, I love his street prophecy, his street preaching type shit he doing, his music. That's one of the biggest reasons I vibe with him. But, man, listening to his interview, and then when I listen to him talk about like, the way I want you to feel this way about my, like how aggressive he got with DJ Envy and whatnot, and I'm like, bro, if I was DJ Envy, I wouldn't even continue the conversation. For one, like, I wouldn't even brought it up. Like, I would have done my homework to know that this is how this dude legitimately feel, and I don't feel like it's a problem with how he feel. That he feel how he feel, but I understand I cannot agree with those type thoughts, and so I would take myself out. And so just naturally, while I'm still gonna bump Kevin Gates, I kind of do think this dude kind of, like, I just don't think I vibe with the human being after all these years, bro. Like, cause I'm like, yo, this motherfucker say some off the wall shit. Some of his views and his logic to me don't really make too much sense. But because he done made it, a lot of people gonna look at him and be like, yeah, man, Kevin Gates preaching, bro. What he's saying is an inspiration. Maybe to him and a certain type of person, but I don't know, man. I guess I ain't the Kevin Gates fan I at one point in time was. Well, I mean, like, I don't think it's nothing wrong with him. Like, I'm not saying he a bad person or nothing like that. I just kind of think the shit he say is kind of nonsense, to be honest. Like, his logic, which is cool for him and for anybody else who feel like, man, you know, I fuck with that. I just think that some of the shit he's like, bruh, just imagining the fact that I'm walking around telling myself, yeah, I'm with a girl that everybody else won't. Like, I want you to feel that way. Like, no, I actually don't. I want you to be respectful of what I got over here. I don't want you lusting over my wife, always talking about, like, nah, bro, I'm old enough to not want my wife to be disrespected at every turn to feed my ego. Like, nah, I don't need reassurance that I got a female or a woman that everybody want. Like, I don't need that. Like, that's a male ego type of problem, in my opinion. Like, the older I get, that's the type of shit that I, like, at one point in time, I would have felt like, yeah, I agree with what Kevin Gates saying about, like, I want dudes to want, because I used to say the same shit. Like, I still remember to this day, bro, sitting in college, and me and my homeboy was talking about, like, at this point, we talking about all the females we done slept with and we done been with. And I remember, like, bro, like, this conversation just always play in my head, like, the time plays everything. And I remember at this point in time, he was like an OG to me. He had pulled more women than me at that point in time and shit like that. And I remember I was telling him about the girl that was a woman that was in our class who kept flirting with me. Like, she had showed me her ass the first day and shit like that. She had tried to give me the finger the first day. And I was telling him about this. And he was like, and I was telling him basically like, but I don't want her, bro, because I don't do white women. And he was like, yeah, I feel you on that. And we basically, the conversation started getting deeper. And out of nowhere, because I was basically questioning him on basically why I get with a woman, and then as soon as I get her, like, I was like, I don't really like women who want me so easy. I was like, I'd rather fuck around with women who don't want me at first, get her, and then go dump her. And I kept asking him at the time, like, I don't really know why I'm like that. Because I was like, it's a girl who I've been with for a long time who wanted me, who I wanted her, but she didn't chase me like, I made her chase me for no reason and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's the only girl who I ever loved, but I'm not with her right now. I said, and I don't know why I'm like this. And he was like, I'm going to tell you what it is, my boy. He said, these is like trophies to us right now. He said, we don't really want them. He said, but everybody is in a competition to get it. He said, and if we see somebody that's just throwing themselves at us, we don't look at that as no value. He say, when we see a girl who act like she don't want us, we see that as a competition. And so that's our ego saying, oh, I'm gonna prove that I can pull her. Like, it's not, our ego is not in question if the girl just want us. So our ego get to acting up. And we like, oh, I gotta prove that I can get her. So we as soon as we pull her, we like, that's another trophy. In his exact words, exact quote, as soon as we pull her, that's another trophy in the trophy case. And then we immediately dump her and we go looking for the next trophy. I never forgot that conversation that we had, bro. And when he had that conversation with me, bro, it was like, bro, I always think to myself in life, like, bro, I'm smart as hell, but then I hear somebody tell me or teach me something that I didn't know that genuinely opened my eyes to something else, and I'm like, man, I'm nowhere near as smart as I want to be. You know what I'm saying? And I really thought to that shit. And I was like, damn, bro. I said, like, I really do look at every female I done been with as like a trophy. Like, in a lot of the longest type of, I wouldn't really say relationships, because I'm not really a relationship type of motherfucker. I only feel like I done had probably 2 or 3 relationships. One real relationship that was a legit relationship. And even that one, to me, to a certain point, didn't even get to go to what certain relationships go to. Because for the most part, the majority of my life, I have looked at women as a trophy type thing. And that was to feed my ego and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm stacking trophies and telling stories of all the women I done been with. All the, you know. And at one point in time, that was cool. So I would have thought exactly how Kevin Gates thought. When he talking about, like, yeah, I want my wife to be, you know, wanted by other dudes. Because I want other dudes to want the trophies on my case. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at their trophy case, and their trophy case not looking like mine's. And I'm like, I want that motherfucker to want this trophy that he can't get. I want him to try to pull this trophy he can't get. But eventually you realize, like, nah, I actually don't give a fuck about none of these trophies. None of them. And, like, this highly disrespectful, but every dude go through this. I'm just gonna tell y'all this right now. Most dudes go through this. Most men, most boys go through this. I was very much a boy when I went through that. But now, as I done matured, as I done got older, I realize why that's so disrespectful. And like I said, the fact that he think like that is, to me, just weird. Like, cause he a grown ass. I think Kev Gates like 34 or something like that. And I still remember this Muhammad Ali quote, a man who is basically when you talk about if you the same dude at 20 at the age of like 30, then you wasted 10 years of your life, basically. That kind of feel like what Kevin Gates kind of sound like a teenage boy at times when he talk. And it's no wonder why I see so many teenage boys liking Kevin Gates nowadays, now after hearing his interviews and shit, not necessarily after hearing his songs and shit. That's what's really weird, because like I said before, a lot of the people who I done talked to who say they Kevin Gates fan can only name like his 2 phones, like his real mainstream shit. They can't really name none of his good shit, like when I blessed the game, I was being quiet. Well, I can't even remember that shit. I ain't heard that shit in a minute. Well, what's the name of that shit? Been through a lot of pain in my life, and I pray the Lord take it all away. Got family doing life to never see the sunshine again. Pray it all. The Lord take it all away. We all away. Diamond teeth. When I blessed the game, I was being quiet. Got a lot to say. Kev Gates got a lot of bangers, bro, that motherfuckers don't know for some odd reason. Like his mainstream shit is nowhere near as tough as the shit that don't be on the radios and shit all the time. Like Vouch. Like I could go through a whole list. Like, bro, Luca Brasi 3 is one of my favorite albums, bro. Like, I think that's the one that's got Trap in the Trenches, I'm selling her meds. H and syringes, I'm serving her meds. Like, what the fuck is that? It's got the discussions on it. That shit got a lot of bangers on it, cuz the Isla album, fire. That shit got Hate the Way I'm Feeling, Painkillers in the Cup. Pray to God I want to end this shit, I don't believe in much. Searching for love in her own place. Nah, I'm out of love. Suicide and contemplated, think I really had enough. I think I really had enough. Wanna believe all the lies that they told me. Like, bruh, this motherfucker Kev Gates got so many bangers, bro. So I'm still gonna listen to the motherfucker, but I don't think I agree with the human no more. But to hop into this next topic, and the last topic, Kevin Gates in this Brooklyn Nets situation, yo. First off, I want to say something. I saw this thing where this report had came through about Ben Simmons in a text group with the Nets, them asking him could he play game 4 and him leaving the chat like Rick Bucher, I think they said is a dude who released that. And when I heard it, I was like, bro, that's just a lie, bro. Like, you wouldn't even have access to that type of information. That's exactly the type of information that you would lie about and be able to feed source to be able to cover up that lie, knowing damn well it's a lie. Nobody would tell you that, and the person who told you that is lying. Like, that did not. Like, it's so irritating when these motherfuckers go out of their way to make athletes look bad, bro. Like I keep saying it, like, these dudes got this type of exclusive access to this sport, but they choose to use it to make these athletes look bad and shit. Like, I just don't understand it. But to get into this Kevin Durant situation, it was basically reported that he went and met with the Brooklyn Nets owner and basically said, listen, my guy, you gotta fucking choose me, or you gonna choose fucking Steve Nash and Joe Tsai, or our fucking GM, Sean Marks. One of these, either I'm going or them two motherfuckers going. And obviously the owner tweeted that he got the full support, like basically Nash and Marks got his support. They're going to do what's in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I do believe that they will eventually trade Kevin Durant. Because I just think, I just believe they'll eventually get irritated. And they'll ultimately realize this is bad for business. Now, this ain't even really about the Nets as much as it is about sports media and their wicked influence. The Nets should rightfully so do what's in the best interest of the Nets. I'm always on the player side, but in a situation like this, much like the Rockets, two organizations that did every fucking thing they could for the two stars that played for those teams. James Harden in Houston, Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. Did everything they could for those two superstars to be comfortable and to have everything they could to win a championship. The organizations delivered on their parts. The two players didn't. However, knowing that, the fucking media, the sports media, for some reason, will continue to say, oh, you know, Houston handled that situation wrong back in the day. Oh, now Brooklyn handling this situation wrong. What are you talking about? Like, at what point in time do sports media have a job to actually, like, at what point in time is it going to be a requirement for these motherfuckers to not just do their jobs, to be good at their jobs? You know what I'm saying? Not try to cause controversy or a new story or a new think piece every fucking time they report something or respond to something or say something. Like, I'm just so baffled by the fact that you could keep running around yelling, oh, the Nets are stupid. If they let Kevin Durant, if they trade Kevin Durant, they'll be a poverty franchise again. Now you got them saying stupid stuff, like the internet going around on Twitter saying, like, at what point in time do somebody get on TV and say, Kevin Durant requested, like, Kevin Durant did not get traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant chose not to re-sign with the Golden State Warriors. He opted out of his contract, and he signed with the Brooklyn Nets. I understand people keep wanting to say he followed Kyrie Irving. That's a grown-ass man. He made the decision to go to the Brooklyn Nets on his own. Kyrie might have influenced it, but at the end of the day, Kyrie ain't signing Kevin Durant's name on a contract for Kevin Durant. Not only did he choose to go there, he chose to re-up on his contract, a fresh 4-year extension. What in the fuck sense does it make, looking at this situation, saying this is on Sean Marks and these dudes did everything wrong? How? Kevin Durant didn't have to re-sign with them if he thought they was doing everything wrong last year. Not to mention, they weren't doing everything wrong. And the people who keep running around yelling, oh, they a poverty franchise if Kevin Durant. Do you realize what what the Nets were before they got to Brooklyn? Because one of the ways that they could had to fit Kevin Durant and Kyrie into the roster was by letting D'Angelo Russell go. Was by trading away Spencer Dinwiddie, letting go of Karis LeVert. A lot of great young pieces on that team that was building for the future. Much like the Lakers letting all their young stars go to accommodate LeBron getting Anthony Davis. This was a team that was on the rise. It wasn't like this team was like Sacramento, who don't look like they improving from a year-to-year basis at all. This was a team that was an exciting team who had just made the playoffs, I believe, with a good head coach. Kevin Durant didn't want that head coach. What they do, they fired him and brought in the head coach that Kevin Durant wanted. He handpicked Steve Nash. Now, for some reason, Kevin Durant doesn't want Steve Nash. But that's the Brooklyn Nets' fault. Okay. Kevin Durant did not play his first year of that contract. Neither did Kyrie, basically. The Brooklyn Nets had no problem with that. They still did everything towards accommodating Kevin Durant. At no point in time has this team not done everything in their power to accommodate Kevin Durant. Now, some people will say, well, they didn't give Kyrie the extension. Why in the fuck would a billion-dollar company give Kyrie Irving an extension when he has shown you that he is not reliable? That would be bad business to pay that man just because Kevin Durant told you to. That's stupid. Kevin Durant at the end of the day ain't the one writing the checks. And while I don't agree with keeping a disgruntled star or a disgruntled player, period, I done said this multiple times. If a dude don't want to play for my team, I'm immediately trading him. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather him have making a mistake on his emotions at the time, regretting leaving, than me regretting keeping him because it killed my franchise's chances and it killed my team camaraderie. Once a dude don't want to be there no more, you need to do everything you can to get the most you can out of a trade, because there's no point in killing your team camaraderie trying to force a dude to stay. I'm never going to agree with forcing somebody to be in my organization. It's just not going to happen. If you don't want to be here, then we will be better off without you in the long run, because we'll have people in place that want to be here. As soon as somebody don't want to be there, you do eventually start to question their work ethic, their effort towards winning in this situation, because you know it's always going to be in the back of your head, he don't want to be here. So maybe that shot that he chose not to take, or maybe he didn't choose to take this shot or that shot, or maybe he wasn't really enthused about making this shot and shit like that. So I just think it's better for the team and for the player to get him in a situation where he want to be in. Now, I also agree with the team and like owners in the sense that, bruh, this dude just signed a 4-year extension. Why in the fuck would we trade this dude away into a 4-year contract and he ain't even played 1 year into the fucking contract? Like, why would we do that? That if we do that, that is bad business. That is much like not Kyrie. That is much like the Cardinals putting that stipulation in Kyler Murray's contract and then taking it out before the man even play a fucking preseason game, just because of the how the media and how Twitter looked at it. That's ridiculous. You can't run your business based off of the shit that's going on Twitter. And I appreciate that the Brooklyn Nets have basically said, listen, either you're going to meet our asking price for Kevin Durant or you're not going to get Kevin Durant. Regardless, we are not rebuilding. If we are rebuilding, it's going to be because it's a 1-year type of thing. We're not going back to being a bad team, because before we got Kevin Durant, we were a good team on the rise. I respect that. Plus, they got 4 years of Kevin Durant. If I was Brooklyn, like I said, I would find a way to trade him, but I also, like Brooklyn, would not give him away for nothing. Now, I think their asking price is a little bit too high, but let's just be logical for a second. Kevin Durant said he want to go to the Phoenix Suns. Cool, let me talk to the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix, what do you have to offer me? Or, matter of fact, it don't matter what you think you have to offer me. Let me tell you what I want if Kevin Durant gonna come to this team. Matter of fact, let me get on the phone with you. The Phoenix Suns, do you want Kevin Durant in a trade? Yes, we do. Cool. Let me tell you what I want from your team. Devin Booker. You give me Devin Booker, a couple pieces, you got Kevin Durant. I wouldn't even ask for too many pieces. I would basically ask for Devin Booker and probably a draft pick or something, or maybe in Jay Crowder. And if they don't want to give me Jay Crowder, fuck it, man. Now, you giving me somebody. I'm leaving him with something. But I'm asking for Devin Booker. If I'm the Phoenix Suns, I immediately hang up, because why in the fuck would I give you Devin Booker, somebody that's 25, 26, for a guy that's 34? I don't give a fuck how great he is right now. He's 34 years old. He done been hurt the last couple years. Outside of him being in Golden State with Steph Curry, he's not won a championship anywhere else. Why would I give away Devin Booker, a kid who has helped us get to a championship already? Why would I give away that building block? That would make no sense. I'll counter offer you, and I'll give you Chris Paul in a couple of these pieces. I'll turn around, and if I'm Brooklyn, no, I'm not trading away Kevin Durant for Chris Paul. Even though that's a closer trade to me because of the age type of thing, that's exactly why I don't want Chris Paul. I just saw Chris Paul fall off a cliff in the playoffs, and it could have been because of his age. I'm not trading away Kevin Durant, who, while he is 34, he's still got a lot left, it looks like, even though he just had a bad playoff series, than Chris Paul. End the conversation, so that's just not going to work. All right, we go on. Boston Celtics. You call them up. Boston, do you want KD? Yes, I do. Cool. This is what I want. Jason Tatum. We're not giving you Jason Tatum. We'll offer you Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and some other pieces. I honestly think that that's a good trade. I'm going to be dead ass serious with you. I think Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown are a great trade. I would pull the trigger on that. I'm not going to lie. I believe that while Marcus Smart is not Marcus Smart, while Jaylen Brown is not the pure scorer that maybe Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and some other pure number one guys who are actually pure scorers are, because he would be looked at as your number one guy, that type of development, if he is under the right head coach and whatnot, I really would accept the Kevin Durant for Jaylen Brown. I think the Nets kind of bugging on that one. If I was the Nets, I would take some draft picks, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and I would probably take one of those big dudes or Derek White. I probably wouldn't take Derek White. Don't need him. I got Steph Curry. I'd probably take one of those defensive ones, big dudes, and it ain't the one that's always hurt. So give me Grant Williams. I would take that trade, but I don't know if Boston is willing to give up that. Because if I'm Boston, I think I would trade away. I wouldn't trade away Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, but I would trade away one of those two and package them up. Now, what you're not getting is Jason Tatum. If that's what they want, you just not getting Jason Tatum. But we done got so far away from what I was actually talking about. I was going through trade scenarios and shit. But if I'm the owners, I understand the owners basically saying, dude, just sign this contract, bro. Make him play through this contract. Now, like I said, my only thing is I'm just not with forcing somebody to play with me because I think that'd do more harm for my team than good. But I get the message that the owner's trying to come through with. Because, like, this ain't a dude who on his last year of a contract where he can opt out and be a free agent next year. Like, this is not that situation. This is a dude who just signed a 4-year contract. And I understand it when you got, like, dudes who sign up to be somewhere, they sign a contract to be somewhere, and because they can't uphold their end of the bargains. Because it'd be a completely different situation if the media was right when they called the Brooklyn Nets a bad organization. They like to base these organizations off of shit that they've done in the past when they was ran by other people and shit. But the Brooklyn Nets have done no wrong by Kevin Durant, bro. No wrong. And if they actually were was as bad as everybody on TV like to make it out to be, then I completely understand. But this ain't that type of situation. Neither was the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets situation is when I actually first looked at James Harden. I was like, come on, man. What the hell? Because I don't even got no problem with you losing, bro, because at least you trying, like you going hard. I don't care about your playoff shortcomings because I get it. You want to be that guy to get your team passes. But then to look at Houston like, oh, we done took this as far as we can go. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Houston, that gave you the pieces that could have helped you turn this organization around. I mean, it could have helped turn the offense around, play a different type of style. Your refusal to change the way you play. You not coming into this motherfucker in great shape every year. You deciding to play for your stats and play for those MVP trophies and make that your main focus rather than actually running a type of offense that can make this team better rather than just help your numbers be better and guarantee your slot into the Hall of Fame. That's on you. You couldn't uphold your end of the bargain because you start playing for James Harden. But now we didn't do enough. Now we a bad organization. Now we didn't do all we could to help James Harden win a championship. That's crazy. Because while James Harden was there, the Houston Rockets did everything they could to help James Harden win. At a lot of times it felt like the Houston Rockets wasn't even doing shit to help the Houston Rockets. They was doing shit to help James Harden. A lot of the moves they made no sense, but James Harden wanted it. James Harden told you it would have made it better for him, so they went out and did it. And now James Harden somehow thinks Houston is the problem. So I get it. I get why owners could feel the way they feel. But this is just a tricky situation. But I don't agree. Like, the funniest thing about this is Kevin Durant wanting him to fire Steve Nash when this is the dude. Like, bro, you wanted Nash. That's the coach you handpicked, my boy. Like, why? What? This shit's a funny situation. It's got to be tough dealing with Kevin Durant right now. And I fuck with Kevin Durant. But this is all just... Kevin Durant probably smoking a blunt laughing at this right now. Dead ass. Shit is hilarious. But with that, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him, man. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home.